This is going to be a quick guide to the doshas, and I've subtitled it, Are You an Elephant, Lion, or Butterfly? Those are the three animals that are associated with the doshas. So first of all, what is a dosha? A dosha is a way of classifying the elemental composition in a body. And if you think about it, all elements, all matter in the world is made up of 5 elements, including us humans. So I know that we think that we're kind of apart from everything else, but we really are built from the same 5 elements that make up the ocean, the mountains, even a table or chair. What is unique about ourselves is that we have different ways that those 5 elements are expressed in our bodies. And we can say when someone has a lot of air and space in their constitution, we call this Vata, a Vata dosha. If someone has a lot of fire and water in their constitution, it's said to be called the Pitta dosha. And when you have a lot of earth and water in your constitution, it is called the Kapha dosha. So thinking of yourself like a kind of a cocktail, right? Where there's 5 ingredients. Some of us have more of, let's say, earth and water. Some of us have more of air and space. Some of us. So your dosha is your imprint based on the 5 elements. And these categories are the 3 kind of overreaching categories. So how do these 3 energetic forces reflect in a body, and how do I know which dosha I am? So I'm going to run through the 3, and as I'm doing it, maybe you can be thinking about your own personality, your own body type, and you may find that you're kind of a couple of them. So we'll start with Vata. A Vata type reflects the air and ether qualities in the physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Vata bodies are irregular. Sometimes they have very long bones, or they may have a more pear-shaped figure, but it's generally depicted by long and narrow. They have difficulty gaining weight. And in terms of their energetic body, they can be very restless or adventurous, dreamy, bubbly, charismatic. Again, thinking that we're coming from the elements of air and space, Vata souls are creative, artistic, and inspiring. It's quite difficult to pin down a Vata type person because their nature is inherently mobile. They love movement. They love to jump. They are changing jobs. They're changing ideas. They're trying new things. And the mascot is a hummingbird or a butterfly. So they're always moving, fluttering from place to place. And for other people who are not of this constitution, Vata types may lack direction. They may seem a little bit airy-fairy. But to the Vata person, that is their comfort zone. That is the place that they were born to be in. Moving on to Pitta, fire and water. So if this is your primary elemental mixture, the qualities of fire and water are inherently hot, light, sharp, oily, and floating. Think of kind of lava. Since these elements are what create Pitta dosha, the Pitta dosha also reflects these qualities. If you have this fire and water elemental mix predominantly, then you will tend to have a medium frame and athletic build, and Pitta types build muscle easily. If they gain weight, it's easy for them to lose. In the mind, the Pitta dosha is very clear and sharp, very intellectual, very analytical. They often are natural born leaders who are passionate. They have courage. They almost need a challenge. They communicate directly. So to some, this clear communication may seem a little bit sharp, a little bit too direct. But for a Pitta person, they would just say, well, that's me being clear and getting to the point. Pitta types value organization and completion of tasks is a must. When they're in balance, they have a beautiful blend of fire and water, which displays in powerful, compassionate nature, inspiring others to achieve their goals. And the unofficial mascot of a Pitta dosha is a lion. So thinking of someone who is strong, powerful, demanding attention, and oftentimes very protective. They can be on the kind of light side, it's protection. On the dark side, it's judgment. Kapha. So Kapha dosha is the force of stability, earth and water. I always think of them like earth mamas, solid, reliable, stocky body type often. You can often see in a person's hands their dosha. So if they have kind of shorter fingers, stockier hands, solid hands, Kapha, muscular, grippy hands, Pitta, and kind of longer fingers, longer bones, thinner skin is Vata. Anyway, back to Kapha. They do find it difficult to lose weight. They have large features, a lot of the qualities of abundance. So beautiful, big, floating hair, big lips, eyes. Kapha personality is sweet, loving, loyal. They are people at a party or a social gathering who are making sure everyone else is okay, right? They really are beautiful, caring souls. They will make sure that you are really at ease. They are very good at hospitality. They are solid, steady, and they really do enjoy routine. The unofficial mascot of a Kapha dosha is an elephant. So they move slowly, although they do tend to retain a lot of things, information and so on. They have very open hearts and have a natural compassion for others. So as I've read through those, maybe you're identifying with one, and maybe there's kind of like, well, that's what I am, but then I'm also a little bit of that. So a lot of people are in fact a blend of two doshas, but there will be one that's actually your kind of leader, if you like. And here I've pulled out 3 images that kind of embody the doshic looks, if you like. So the girl standing in the middle of the street is very Pitta, right? She has the athletic body, the eyes are very penetrating, and there's a kind of like warrior stance to them. And then in the top right-hand corner, this lady is a kind of embodiment of Kapha, the warm, rounded, sweet. And it's not just the physical, but there's an energetic quality there. And then below, the qualities of Vata, air and space, long, long limbs, narrow features, and again, the stance says it all, movement. So maybe that's the way you can see. And the fun part of this is that once you also know your own dosha, you'll start to see in others. And it helps us really to relate to others, understanding that they're not built the same, they don't think the same, and they don't approach life in the same way as if they're a different dosha than us. So this is the point that most people kind of jump off at. They go online, they do a little quiz, and they say, okay, I am, let's say, Pitta. And then they kind of get confused, right? Because there's more to it. And this is the part where I want to say like pop culture Ayurveda kind of stops. So I want to take you into a little bit deeper and more advanced understanding of this. And it's a more realistic and kind of onboard way of understanding. So there's more to it. So now that you've figured out which dosha you are, the next part is figuring out if you're living in alignment. So the 2 words that I have here, prakriti and vikriti. This is how Ayurvedic doctors make assessments on the health of their clients. They are comparing the given at conception prakriti. So imagine that you are a little baby in the pre-conception factory, right? And you will get a cosmic stamp that is a stamp of physical and mental characteristics based on the doshas. Now, to be truly in alignment with the Ayurvedic teachings, your Prakriti actually comes from a number of things. So it comes from the quality of the sperm, the quality of the ovum, the dosha that your mother and father are both in at the time of conception, plus also the movement of the planets and your gestation period and the foods that your mom's eating. So there's a lot of different pieces that go into making your stamp of dosha. So that's kind of like in your bones, in your blood, your Prakriti, your stamp. And the doctors are comparing what your stamp is, that is also in your pulse, by the way, with your Vrikriti, which is your current lifestyle, which may show an imbalance or disease. So they're checking how you were supposed to be, right down to your pulse, your rhythm, with how you're actually living. And so when they identify your individual constitution, it's to see how closely you're in alignment with that, or whether you're just like way off and trying to live like another person's life, basically. So getting tailor-made around your diet, your exercise, and even, what kind of oils that you're going to be using in the Abhyanga part when we get to it. So it's a mix and match game again, requiring self-study all the way so that your current lifestyle takes into account whether you are more butterfly, Vata, elephant, Kapha, or lion, Pitta. Now there's plenty of dosha quizzes online that you can have fun with and explore. I'm more than happy to put some in the resources or tell you about them. But I will say, just remembering that knowing your dosha alone is only one step towards kind of understanding how to navigate, right? The other part is taking into account what you're doing in comparison to your blueprint. So that brings me to the end of this little guide to the doshas. I hope that's useful. We will be talking about everyone's dosha in the meeting. You'll be sharing which dosha you think you are. And moving forward, it's going to educate you and guide you into the movement practices, the kind of diet that you should be following, and which oils to use in Abhyanga. Thank you so much.